Boy, they're for the button for knobs now.
Yeah, I love the look of it.
But the sound is just great.
Oh, what, you know, we can work on that. There's a small fee for the service, right?
You don't get on your you don't take out on your carry-on.
It's like carry.
I can't, but you wouldn't get through our airport with that. Stops. All right, no way. You wouldn't get on our aircraft with that.
Well, I like that.
Good luck getting it back. Good luck.
It's $6 if I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with the you're sitting out, yeah. You know, I carry this in my carry-on, but I just have a case in my bag. When I took out a Calgary, I said, you can get everything in your bag and put it on top of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. So, I was totally upset. I don't know my batteries really forgot to. No, you're not. Now, you're you've been mentioning that what happened to the airport? I was shocked. Yeah, I know. I just right away from the store. Well, it's 10 trucks. What term? Oh, yeah. Sorry. How many times have you been my car is now it's short. That would be get your name. Well, I wonder if there's but I just because you knew something. Oh yeah, we got your work. Yeah, it's a little unheard of. So you get the no, I know it's you bought one of those. Oh, I got one. Well, that's the problem. I have 5 people. You only have 5. I go on. I'm up to 11. Yes, I promised myself I wouldn't buy it. I wasn't $8,000. Something. No, it's not capacity to do the breakfast. Sell news. Yeah, I told you one guy.
My first contact. How's it going? We didn't see you in the hotel this morning.
Oh no, I was there.
Oh wow. Wow.
Went to Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I know those ones.
I know, right?
Along the yeah. Oh.
I broke it down here, it broke. And so what I did was cut it, and then I fed it to the section here, and I shortened it, and the broken section. So I've got that. I think I documented that. Okay. So when I documented this, cut it, cut a repair tip on it.
I had somebody I purchased the smallest one to be more, compact, but I just love the 33 so much. I can within 3 minutes I'm going to be on the air in 3 minutes.
I'm so happy that this is it's They were selling stones last year. Stones in
So I bought 233-quarter yesterday, just to make sure I bought 233-quarter. So you have to, with those, you have to be really careful and treat them really with the most respect and put all attention into the other day. I was kind of in a hurry. I had my foot on my wire.
Well, good morning. Oh. Apparently I need to wait for the AV person to turn on the mic. Is this on? Oh, it is on. Pardon, I didn't hear it. Good morning. Welcome to Go Kit Design, a Fresh Approach. I am Vince, VE6 Lima Kilo. I am Alpha Italy 7 Lima Kilo when I'm down here in your beautiful country, and I'm very pleased to be here this morning with you. In this presentation, I'm going to focus a little bit on the equipment. This isn't about equipment. Keep your credit cards in your pocket, unlike what I normally do, enabling you to buy stuff, as I did with Thomas yesterday. And so I'm going to focus a lot on the how to design your kit and give you a methodology so you can do that. And this applies to all sizes, whether you're building a party bus or building a small bag like I have demonstrated here on the stage. I have been operating portable for over 20 years, and I operate in a lot of conditions. I was the lead Aries response person for the Western Canadian floods in 2013. We had our own force of 55 working around the clock for the first 72 hours at that event. You can read those stories on my website, ve6lk.com. Most of the information you're seeing here today is on my website, ve6lk.com. If you can't remember that, I have stickers on the stage that will help you remember that. So I'm going to start with some definitions. Now, if I were to pick 3 of you at random from the audience today and ask you for your definition of a Go Kit, what's the joke? I'm going to get 7 answers, right? Because there are so many different definitions of that. So that's to say it can be whatever you want it to be. The variety is notwithstanding, I'm going to try and keep it simple. Up on screen are 3 kits. K8UFM, I met him yesterday. He came over to the Ham Radio Workbench booth, and he showed me pictures of his kit. He built it into a toolbox. If you can go to his website, you will see some information about that, or his QRZ profile. Whiskey Alpha 4 Alpha Bob on the right-hand side of the screen, he hand-machined everything in the kit you're seeing. That's an award-winning kit. That's clearly built for purpose. I am all about building for purpose. Go Kits fall into 2 main groups, 2 main categories. There are those that fit in a bag of some sort, like what I've got up on stage here today, like a backpack, a camera, laptop bag, in my case, a fishing tackle bag, because I discovered the fishing stores have all kinds of great bags and boxes to hold things. I didn't know that. Or those that fit into a box of some sort, a 19-inch rack mount gator case like a musician's road case, or a plastic box like an Apache or a Pelican or a Nanook. And then there's 2 subgroups for kits. There are those that are powered off the grid, from the grid, and there are those that are powered by battery. So this section that I'm going to go into is the real cornerstone of the discussion today. And now that you're properly caffeinated, I'm going to ask you to start thinking about yourself and your needs as I review this information. Again, all of the information I'm presenting is up on my website. The Fresh Approach is about building for a purpose. And it's the basics of setting your goals and building towards them. Now on this screen, each of the kits have been purpose-built. They are not a random gathering of things that have just been thrown together. My dear friend Thomas in the front row today, his kit's on the bottom. A purpose-built wooden box or a gator case in the middle. Some portable repeater equipment in the upper left, or built into the ever-popular ammo can in the upper right. These are all built for purpose. Build your kits for purpose, save your money. So the first thing you need to do is define your purpose. Why do you want a kit? Think about that for just a minute. And where are you going to operate it? This is just a sampling of things before you break out the credit card, pick up a screwdriver, or go buy a box, right? Where are you going to go? Are you going to go why are you going to do this? Are you going to do camping or POTA? Are you going to do MCOM support? Are you doing event support? All of those things are different purposes with different unique needs. Where are you going to use them? On a picnic table, inside, on a mountaintop? What frequencies are you going to operate on? V and UHF, HF, all of the above. That would be me. What operating modes are you doing? CW, voice, digital? What operating power level will you be running? This is real significant for your battery consumption. 5 watts, 100 watts. And what's the purpose for your QSOs? Are they casual, contest, MCOMs? Casual, where it doesn't matter if the message gets through, and I kind of lump POTA and SOTA into that. Is it contest? You really hope it gets through. Is it MCOM? It's critical that it gets through. You got to think about all of these things. Morning, Walt. Define your electrical requirements. Think about, this is one of 2 limitations you're going to face as you build this up, right? Is your mechanical and your electrical requirements. Now these become restrictions on how you do your design. How are you going to power this thing? Is it going to be powered off commercial mains, a generator? What's your operating power level? 5 watts, 100, something in between? Duty cycle plays into this too, because FM consumes more power than HF, than sideband does. What's your length of operating time you're planning for? Is it a few hours? Is it the whole day? And where is your power? Is it right beside you, or is it, 100 feet away? All of these things play into it. Mechanical requirements. How big do you want to make it? Is it tiny? Does it need a crew of roadies? Yeah, a few people are in on that. Yeah, pallets on the air. Is it luggable? How much does it weigh? 3 pounds, 50 pounds? What form factor do you want to fit it in? A backpack? A dedicated vehicle, a transport truck? And where are you going to set it up? Does it need a table? Can you wear it? Are you going to sit it on the ground? All of these things are mechanical requirements. There are many more. These are just the basics. So what's in a kit? I think I can. Yes, we have the technology. Thank you. Thank you. Again, great photos of kits, K4SWL in the upper left. You can find out about all of his wonderful YouTube work. Please go to his YouTube channel. And some other great kits, 4H1BHP, I believe that reads 4L1BHP from the Philippines. People love to take photos of their kits, right? Spread them out on the ground. There's a term for that. I can't remember what it is. Crazy, yes, crazy. That's a term. It's not the one I was looking for, but it works. But it works. So look, all kits have at least these 2 items. 2 items. A radio and power distribution. I didn't say a microphone. I didn't say a CW key. I'm getting there. Beyond that box or that bag, you're going to need some antennas and supports, some feed line, some way to get power to your radio, power cables, I'll call that, manuals for your gear. Please do not underestimate the value of bringing a manual to the event you are supporting. As net control, I'm frequently the lead technical person at a rally sport event, and somebody says, I have this something radio from 1943, and how do you make it go into crossband? I don't know, you own it. Please bring your manual. I didn't bring manuals for these because they don't crossband. That's my excuse today, and I'm sticking to it. Now, some kits have these things too. They have more than one radio, and I'll tell you why in a bit. Microphone, CWK, digital interface, a computer, a power meter, an antenna tuner, external speakers or headphones, a battery, a charger, a solar panel. And then there's stuff to make your life and your comfort easier. Paper, pen, pencil, Sharpie marker. Always use Sharpie brand markers. Don't accept substitutes. A clipboard, notebook, tape, coffee mug, water bottle, fuel bar. That could be for you or to start a fire. Depends on your needs. A first aid kit. Fresh clothing. Fresh socks. Do not underestimate how cranky you get when your feet are damp.
Pack a pair of dry socks. Yes, there's a pair in my bag over at the booth. Fresh clothing, adequate food, lighting. The lighting can be anything from something simple like a flashlight that you carry on your hip, or, you know, something a little more formal as a portable lantern. Poncho. A poncho serves multiple purposes. You can throw it over your gear to keep the heat off of it or the rain off of it, or you can throw it on yourself to keep yourself dry. So now that you've heard the basis of it, I'm going to walk you through my kit and the reasoning I chose what I did. I'm going to share my requirements and show you what's inside my kit. I'm going to warn you, some of these slides are a bit of an eye chart. For those of you in the back, I'll talk my way through them. You can see 3 photos here. Excuse me. A very typical photo of what my double yellow kit looks like, set out on the bench in front of you. My new KX3 kit, and a typical setup at a rally sport event when I lay my gear out all on the counter. So my design requirements, I am frequently in net control or I'm in an emergency operations center. So where do I operate? Indoors primarily. Sometimes I'm camping or outdoors. My power source is 120 volt mains. I bring 12 volt DC along just in case I need it, in case mains fails. The frequencies I cover, all of them. I hate being restricted. There have been times when I need 80 meters and 40 meters for MCOM, for NVIS, or we're working interprovincially covering the western provinces of Manitoba through British Columbia on 80 meters in the daytime. 80 meters is beautiful for that, right? When we're doing support like that, or more frequently VHF and UHF, not so much 20 and 10 and all the rest of those bands. The operating modes I operate on are phone, CW, and digital, not necessarily in that order. The power level is up to 100 watts, and the purpose is doing event support, you know, the road rallies, the cycle tours, the foot races, camping POTA, or doing disaster MCOM support. And fortunately, I haven't had any of those lately. There are some must-have items in my list. I define things as must-have and nice-to-have. Must-have and nice-to-have. That's a methodology that was coined by the Kepner-Trigo Corporation as they do their business consulting. So my must-have items are concurrent VHF, UHF, VFOs. As if you listen to the podcast, you've heard me say 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And it sucks when a radio fails, and I've had that happen to me on an event. So I have 2 radios. I've got one ready as a hot standby. I can just pick up the mic and go. Yes, that means separate antennas. An externally amplified speaker and a headphone distribution amp. I will show you a better photo of that later on and what that's all about. And for me, a mechanical requirement as a guy with a bad back is each piece must be 1 arm, carryable, and rugged for transport. And I drove out to an event 9 hours from home in British Columbia, and I stopped for a coffee in the morning, and I go to reach for my wallet in the back seat, and lo and behold, one of my cases had shifted. Now, Pelican cases are awesome. They stack on top of each other if you get them the same size. They're designed to do that so they don't slide around. One case shifted. Maybe I took a corner a little bit too hard in an F-350. I don't know how that's possible. And I opened the door, and I can see a kit making its way to the ground. And I had to make a snap decision. Do I break the fall of the kit with my foot or break my foot? My KX3 was in the kit. The kit hit the ground. The KX3 was unharmed. So if you build them right, that took a 7-foot fall, landed on the corner of that bin. I was very lucky. So I'm going to give you an overview now what's in my former kits, because I've redesigned them since I did this photo. From the upper left to the upper right, in the left-hand side box, I have a Yaesu VX7 drop-in charger. So the dirty secret about drop-in chargers for most handhelds is you can put 12 volts into them, regardless of what the adapter says, because they're only buck or stepping it down to the 7 point something volts that your handheld battery needs. Try try your charger, consult with somebody first before you let the smoke out to see if that works. But this works quite well for me. Now I have 2 of these radios because 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Because I smoked one and then I replaced the RF board, I replaced the radio and then I replaced the RF board in the first one. And when I was doing the 2013 floods as the lead operator, I needed 4 VFOs at once. And these radios do 2 VFOs each. That's why I carry 2 handhelds, 2 matching handhelds with me. I don't have to think about how to use them because I've owned them for so long. Your favorite radio may vary. This is not a Yaesu commercial, right? Just pick what works for you. An external speaker that hangs up so I can hear things. A creature comfort device. That's a fancy word for a little tiny fan. This plugs into a USB port. So I've got some 12 volt to USB converters so that I can blow some cold air across my face to keep me feeling better about things. I should have had one up here today, as a matter of fact. But the room is lovely and air conditioned. 12 volt distribution power strip. Moving to the right-hand case, there's a 12 volt power supply underneath the checker plate. That's from PowerWorks. It's an SS30. If it's good enough for Elecraft to recommend and Flex Radio to recommend, it's good enough for me. These are little tiny supplies, and you look at them and you go, how the heck can they? I don't ask that question. If these guys recommend it, I'm happy with it. And a second external speaker. Along the bottom from left to right, in the black case, is my WinLink to go kit. Now, where I live, in our area, our club has stood up 430-something megahertz WinLink packet and WinLink on Vera to transit messages because we're in a flood-prone area. So we've stood up that infrastructure. So that kit is built for that area. It's a commercial UHF data radio that would otherwise be used for SCADA purposes that I've repurposed with a Cantronics TNC or whatever TNC is in the box. I can't remember. Coming along to the right, the headphones amp is there. One channel on that headphone amp, that's a headphone distribution amp you find at a music store. I hacked that one channel out and built in an LM386 module. You get those off eBay or AliExpress for a few bucks. And it puts out 3 watts on that one channel. So I can drive an external speaker and have independent control of the volume in my headset. And that's really good when I'm in a really busy emergency operations center or a net control logistics center where everybody is talking around me, but I just need to hear the radio, but they want to hear the radio too. That's why I have that piece. I've got an LDG antenna tuner, except no substitutes. They have great customer service. I had to experience it firsthand. I'll tell you the LGG story very briefly. One of my tuners smoked during field day. Somebody didn't tell me they were handing me a wet piece of feed line. That was very kind of them. And 4 hours later, I'm like, what's that smell? Oh, tuner, very hot, very bad. Send the tuner down to LGG a few years later after I moved from Eastern Canada to Western Canada, and I mail it to them with the following note printed in the box. Dear LDG, Magic Smoke let out. Please quote and reinstall Magic Smoke. Thank you, Vince. Get a note back. Dear Vince, Magic Smoke no longer obtainable. We will upgrade you. Please take your choice of. And they were providing them at below the candy store where I work, at below their cost to me. They took care of me in a huge way, except no substitutes. Great story. SignalLink sound card, an FT8800 or 8900 radio, dual band, crossband radio. These are not current technology, right? But they're still very serviceable and they're reliable, and I know them with my eyes closed, and that's key. An FT857D. So I have an 8900 857 in the truck, 8900 on the desk at home. Used to have an 857. I've had a variety of radios at home. But this is what I used. I stick with what I know. Muscle memory is important when messages are critical. An FT meter, an external meter, so that I can measure a few things at once. And a Panasonic Toughbook computer I'm going to talk about separately, and a 50 amp hour battery. So that was my portable kit. Many components of it have been reworked into something else. I wanted everything I could do at home on the road. That's a requirement. I don't want to think about it. I just want to use the radio to do my job. So if I take off the checker plates underneath, there's some assorted RF adapters. There's 3 short RG400 jumper cables. RG400 is the size of RG8X, if you've never heard of it, with loss characteristics mostly like LMR400. It's an amazing cable. It's Teflon coated. If it gets dirty, you wipe it off. You don't have to think about it. It's great. I use BNC connectors because they're quick. Yes, I carry adapters for that. Yes, I lose 1/10 of a dB per adapter per Jim W6LG. He's got a video about that, right? You don't lose a lot. The convenience is worth it. I carry those 12 volt to USB adapters. I carry 3 or 4 of them so I can plug in my fan or my cell phone charger or whatever and keep all that stuff running while I'm plugged into mains. I carry the FT857 CAT cable for digital mode interfacing. I've got a 12 volt power supply, as I mentioned previously. I carry grounding cables for HF. I carry them in 2 lengths, 5 foot and 10 foot. And if you look really closely at the photo, and I'm sorry for those of you at the back of the room, you can't see this, but there's heat shrink at the tail end of those where the jumper, where the flat soldered braided grounding cable meets the alligator clip. And they're different colors on each one. So I can grab the one I need quickly. If I need 15 feet, hey, I combine the two. I'm a simple guy, after all. There's external speakers. You can see the fan. There's a headphone extension cable for when I want to, dance around and walk around and stretch my legs. There's every box has a 19-inch dual band rare earth magnet antenna. The Workman brand or whatever, but that neodymium magnet is the key because it holds the antenna down no matter what speed you're traveling. Don't ask me why I know that. I carry a little bit of other gear with me. Again, these slides are up on my website. You can grab a copy of them from there. I carry 3 50-foot lengths of that RG400 cable BNC connectors on it. I carry an HF wire antenna, an HF field vertical, and a tripod. I carry a Diamond X30 or X50, ground plane antenna, just something basic that I can get up high. I carry mag mount spares too. 120 volt extension cables, 200 feet of them as a matter of fact, in 3 lengths. So that I can get anywhere I need to get power. I don't need a lot of power, and if I'm running 200 feet of 16 gauge cable, yes, there's some voltage drop at the other end, but what do I care? I just need 12. Power supply is going to take care of the rest of it. So if it's 90 in, I still get 12 out, right? I carry a couple of sets of headphones with me, depending on the purpose. I have a set of really nice Sony listening headphones, and I like the style that covers the ear. Your mileage may vary. I don't want to hear the room around me. I want to hear the radio. And I carry a set of Heil Pro 7s with the boom mic. CW key, the Panasonic Tough Book as mentioned. I carry a list of what I call problem solvers. These are things that I don't reach for often, but when I reach for them, it's because I darn well need them. A roll of 3M blue painter's tape. It's bold because, except no substitutes. Sharpie brand markers. I wish they'd sponsor me. Paper, pen, pencil, clipboards. Dollar store carabiners. Get the cheap ones. You do not need to spend $12 on a beaner. You're just holding something together. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Neodymium magnet cup hooks. In Canada, I buy these at a store called Lee Valley Tools, and you do have one in America. It is a mail order place like they are mostly in Canada. But the neodymium magnet cup hooks hold a tremendous load, 10, 12 pounds. Well, why do I need those? I'll show you in a minute. I carry a set of hand and soldering tools because people know that I can fix things. And sometimes I need them. I carry extra feed line, extra VHF, UHF mag mount whips because somebody will approach me at a rally and go, my antenna's broken. I carry my antenna analyzer, then I check their antenna. And if not, I just hand them one of mine and say, you owe me, bring it back. And they do. So I'm not doing soda with this kind of kit, right? This is a roll up, drive up, ask the roadies to help me load in. No, I'm the roadie, and get set up. So here's 3 quick stories. You heard me talk about that headphone amp. Go to your music store if you need one of these. And this is a Behringer brand. They're made under many brands. It's this 40 Canadian bucks, 25, 28 US-ish. Get them off Amazon if you don't have a music store, the Pro Audio section near you. And that LM386 module. You don't have to pick LM386. It was the number I knew. It's what worked for me. And then get out your X-Acto knife, cut the traces where it goes to the output, feed the output of that headphone amp channel into the input of the amplifier module, feed the output of the amplifier module to the output of the box, seal it up really nice so that nothing shorts because you're doing kind of backroom surgery on it. And now you've got a 2.5 watt amplifier on the output of one of those channels. Oh yes, those of you in the front row will see that one of those channels has been clearly labeled speaker. That's the high drive channel. Don't plug your headphones in there unless you don't value your eardrums or the drivers in your phones. Vince, why is there a dumpster in your presentation? Because when I was at the big white winter rally in Kelowna, BC, one of my very favorite events to go to several years ago, the repeater failed. Now, it had failed on me the last time, the time before that I was there, and it was a very old tape repeater located at 8,500 feet and just over the top of the hill at a chairlift. We're at the base of that chairlift. Well, it failed. So many of us hitting 40 radio operators hitting it all day long, and rally traffic is constant. If you've ever done a rally, you know this. I see a few heads shaking in the room. And so the damn thing failed on us, and we're in the middle of switching stages. So we're moving 20 volunteers from point A to point B, and the repeater drops. And we do net control with 2 concurrent net controls on the same frequency at the same time. And I was training somebody that year. And I recognized immediately what happened when I unkeyed the mic and beep, did not happen. The repeater dropped. A couple more tries because you're frustrated. No, that dog don't hunt. Immediately grabbed that 100 feet of feed line, that mag mount antenna. Somebody says, Vince, what do you need? I said, please come with me. Open the window. We went out to the dumpster. We used the shovel you see pictured there. I cleared off a piece of snow, dropped the mag mount on it, ran the feed line back into the room, because I'll tell you why about that in a second, and connected it to the radio. Now, why did I need that external antenna? Why wasn't I running one? Because I was using a little tiny antenna on the inside. I was sitting in a closed off kitchen area at the ski hut, and ground plane was a range hood. His repeater's just a kilometer away. It just happens to be 7,000 feet up. And I didn't need much antenna. I don't want much antenna if there's 2 of us in close proximity. We will desense each other. The scary part is we'll still desense each other even with 2 quarter wave antennas. We want to hear the repeater traffic first, not ourselves. So desense, you can use that to your advantage in these cases. Anyway, I ran the antenna out. I went back in, I flipped my radio into reverse, and I called out to everybody 3 times. The primary frequency has failed. Please switch to backup. I repeated that message twice more, and my co-control operator was waiting on simplex waiting on the other frequency and started taking check-ins. We lost 7 minutes. Use the dumpster to your advantage. Dumpsters make great ground planes. I will attest to that firsthand. The cup hooks. This is a way I get feed line out the window at an event. I go up to the ceiling. This is a great ceiling. It's just too high. These drop T-bar ceilings are steel, and a magnet sticks to them. These make great ground planes for antennas too, if you're ever in a need. That's how I did it in the 2013 floods. Up to the ceiling, magnet sticks. My antenna sticking down. It might be a few feet from my head. I don't care. The RF exposure isn't all that much. I'm not going to be, operating 100% duty cycle like you think of these things. So I'll put a cup hook up to the ceiling, and I'll group all the cables together for all of us up in one run, up and across and over. Fluorescent light fixtures make great magnetic ground planes. They also make great points to hang carabiners with cup hooks to get your cabling out the window. No cables across the floor for people to crush and mess with your impedance. I never put them on the ground anymore. I go up all the time. I can always find something, even if it's just a single point. I can always find something. Or if the window's, in this case, the window was behind me and there was foot traffic, the window's usually in front of me, and I can just go right out that way. Yeah. Let's talk about the computer. Well, so I went through the same must-have, nice-to-have, Kepner-Trigo, that I did for the rest of my equipment. The computer's a Panasonic Toughbook, a CF53 Mark IV. And at the time I bought it, I bought it because it supports Windows 7. Okay, a few giggles in the room. Y'all know what Windows 10 likes to do with drivers, Windows 11? It likes to replace them for you. I don't want that. This is my programming kit for my field radios. And this is my programming kit for our club's repeater radios. I don't want those drivers to change. So Windows 7 locks them down and leaves it. This computer stays fresh with updates, but otherwise stays the heck off the internet. I'm an IT guy. I understand those risks. So, magnesium alloy case, which means I can step on it if I need to. We used to run these in our ambulance fleets, and if the wheels of an ambulance rolled over it, yeah, we had to repair something. Generally not much. They're amazing computers. I saw a whole bunch of used ones for sale. What was it, Building 3, Building 2 as well. It's an i5 processor. This thing does not win races. It has 8 gig of RAM and a 200 gig solid state drive. I don't need all of that. The RAM is really nice. I won't lie about that. It's £6 and it has an integrated carrying handle. So I don't need to case it. I can throw it in the back of my truck and bounce up and down whatever road I'm going to, whatever repeater at 7,000 feet, and it'll survive. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. It's got every I/O port you need and then some. Very important to me, it has a true RS-232C serial port with proper voltage levels, because many of them don't have the proper voltage levels for RS-232, and some radios are fussy about that stuff. Now, what else do I do on this computer? Why is it in my Go kit? It's in my Go kit, in addition to that, because it runs my digital mode software, my logging software, and the programming software for all the radios in my kit. Now, some of that stuff is so old it only runs on MS-DOS, Windows XP. I'm sorry if that gave you a cold shiver when I said those things. But I run those in OS virtualization under Oracle VM VirtualBox. That's a free download. If you're unfamiliar with workstation virtualization, I think there's something on my website about it, and there's plenty of information on the internet about it. This is all free software, save for the operating systems. Getting DOS to run after 20 years of not doing it, because I used to have a dedicated DOS computer, that was fun. I had forgotten how to load diskettes. Over time, your needs will change. Sir, a question, please. On the last slide, I mentioned DOS.
Programming a device with MS-DOS on a virtual machine.
Have I had any problems communicating with a device on a virtual machine? The answer is no. Oracle VM VirtualBox is the most stable platform I can find to run DOS. I have not had that issue. It transfers everything across very nicely. There is an orchestration involved and a real chemistry involved with the host operating system and the guest operating system to get that to work. But once it's working, it's not 3 computers I have to carry. Yep. Oracle VirtualBox. Your needs change over time. Adapt to those change. Experiment and try all those things, right? That's how we learn. That's what Mike K8MRD just said in his video that dropped about 5 days ago. Experiment and try the things. If you haven't seen Mike's videos, go find him on YouTube, K8MRD. He's got some great advice with that one video. But remember, ergonomics and usability is your real key to getting this done right. So now let me tour you through, let's go through a walk-through time. Here's what my kit once was. Sporting gear on the left and VHF and HF radios on the right, but not a whole lot of redundancy, right? Now that 857 can do VHF, UHF. It's not designed to do that. It's difficult to program in repeater offsets and all that hullabaloo. So I think of it as an HF radio, and I don't mean to denigrate it by saying that. I have 2 of them. I love them. Here's what it is today. I pulled into service my very old Kenwood TM732A. Some of you may remember that radio. And it does crossband, full duplex. So it and the 8800 live together. There is now an independent power supply in that case. So now I have 2 power supplies. I've got redundancy for power. And the HF kit You notice I say HF kit number 1 is sitting there with the tuner, with the signaling. So all the HF stuff's in one box. So now I don't need to set up 2 boxes just to get power from point A to point B. Great. I've cut my load in half. If I'm just doing a rally sport, I grab 1 bin, not 2. And I've got 12 volt DC for backup in case my power supply fails. Easy. So it was super cumbersome to go out and have 2 cases to go do POTA. And my friend Malin, VE6 VID, Canada's first double goat in the soda system, he took me off to do a soda expedition, which explains my love for all things Elecraft and small now. He's to blame. He's the enabler. And then we went to do a POTA activation, and he said, my gosh, Vince, you got this 35-pound mast and this 60-pound kit, and he taught me the ways. So it was super cumbersome, right? So I joined, I had a new family member join in the KX3, which is nameless because I don't name my radios necessarily like Thomas does. The KX3 is now that, that family member. In that KX3 kit, as pictured there, are 15 amp hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries under the lid. There's power distribution fused under the lid. You notice it's a lid without a base. Yes, I figured out how to get the hinge pins out of a Pelican case. So it sits on my desk most of the time. Now, right now, the KX3 is with me, and the rest of it's sitting there, wondering when Daddy KX3 is coming home. This kit has served me very well. And it's great to be able to just put it out on a picnic table, turn it on, and go, because the batteries are underneath. And I can charge it whenever I can. 15 amp hours is an awful lot for a QRP guy. I'd probably go all weekend and then some with that, right? I almost purchased an FT710. And as a member of the candy store, and I don't talk much about the candy store, but we sell candy made by Kenwood, Yaesu, Icom, Flex Radio, and others. I part-time there in Canada. As a member of the candy store, I can buy 1 radio a year from the manufacturers directly at their employee pricing, below store cost. It's a very nice perk that we get. Manufacturers are good to us in the dealer chain that way. And I had my order in for a 710, and then Malin showed me his KX2, and I went, oh, this is pretty. And I had to change directions. If I had an unlimited amount of money, I'd have a 710 on the desk at home. KX3 is what lives there now, though. The wing nuts are on the plate. You may have trouble seeing that in the photo, and they keep it easy to tear it open for maintenance. So yes, I did the sacrilegious thing, and I drilled a hole into my Pelican case to mount the bolts. I did try, it looks painful, I know, right? I did try various forms of glue to hold those bolts in place, and they just would not stay. The Pelican cases, the Nanooks, the Apaches, they're all made from that fibrous plastic molded process. They're amazing cases. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think you have OCD, you don't. It is CDO. Sir. It's aluminum checker plate. How heavy is the plate? The KX, this box here? About 12 pounds. Most of that's battery. If you think you have OCD, you don't. It's CDO. That is the order in which the letters are supposed to be. I have CDO. My name is Vince. And I have lists upon lists. Now, if you've met me, you want to know who's got lists upon lists upon lists, come to booth 3011. He's called George from Pactena. And so we're brothers from a different mother in that respect. Please don't forget your lists. If you want to download this list, you can do that from the front of my webpage. Go to my webpage. At the very top, it says Ham Smarter with Vince Tools for free downloads or something like that. Right near the top of the top page. Now, you can see in the left-hand side of this photo is what each list looks like. And each one of those boxes has a page in behind it in the Excel spreadsheet that you can populate any way you want. Now, it's copy-paste. There's nothing fancy. There's no formulas or anything. But you can see on the right how I actually use it. I check down each box on the left when I'm working in a box. And when I filled the square, I make a big X in it. Kyle, who's just on stage ahead of me, saw this photo when I posted it on social media a few years ago on my way to Big White Winter Rally. And he said, Vince, you forgot the TP on the list. Because he knew I was traveling through areas frequently with no gas stations. And I've since added TP to the list. I think it's available for the download. So thank you for coming to my talk today. Here's the things you need to remember. And if you can't remember them, go to my website, download the materials. It's in there under a section called Learning. Determine your must-have and your nice-to-have items. Write them down. Think about them. Be merciless about thinking about them too. Like, be very critical. Evaluate your purpose, your locations for use, and your mechanical considerations, because the purpose and electrical and mechanical design elements determine your kit's functionality and its build-up points. That's the point you break out the credit card. A narrow focus kit is very lightweight. Adam K6ARK does his 1 pound challenge. His whole kit is 1 pound. Yeah, I tried to do that in Canadian with a kilogram and I still failed. But then again, I'm not a soda guy, right? A narrow focus kit is lightweight, but a highly flexible kit is anything but lightweight. Pallets on the air takes a crew of roadies and a transport truck. Just keep that in mind. So there's a balance you have to achieve. Everybody knows what their balance is. Everybody knows what their own purpose is, and that's good for you. And what's good for you may not be good for me, and that's okay too. So this is a methodology to help you decide what to put into a kit. I hope you've enjoyed this today. This is how you can get in touch with me. I welcome your comments and feedback. Please watch my YouTube channel if you need to fall asleep. And thank you so much. I'll take your questions at this time. Yes, sir.
I am one of those guys that everything's on a pallet. It's 12 to 12U roadie box, and the bottom shelf, 19-inch rack shelf, is all power, as well as solar charging. 706 Mark II G, all the HF is the next shelf.
Awesome.
Then a Kenwood V71 with a scanner, because when you're supporting your served agency, you want to know what they're doing or be able to monitor their traffic. So a scanner is a good thing. And then it goes on and on from there with more rigs. There's a total of 7 rigs, a built-in power supply. Slap the covers on front and back, and it's on the side of the unit is a hand cart bolted on.
Oh, beautiful hand cart for all of that. It's awesome.
When you say you got to be able to move it with one hand, well, I can do that. It weighs 75 pounds.
Yep.
It's a beast. However, when I have a mission where I need only 1 or 2 shelves out of that, I have a smaller 6U bag or box. Pull the shelves out that I need for that mission, pop them in a smaller bag and run.
Right on.
But
That's awesome.
It's an entire ham radio shift.
If you can move that with one hand, that's impressive. Mine has to be one arm carryable. And so I do have a case with wheels, but I won't use it because I'm going to stuff it with too many things. Like, don't we all want to put so much stuff in a bag just because we can? Any other questions, please? Thank you, Paul, for doing microphone duty. I did not know that was there. Yes, sir. Bigger the bag, the more stuff you put in it. Truer words were never spoken. Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming today. You're welcome to come up on stage, see my stuff, grab a sticker for the YouTube channel. Thank you so much.
See you later, Vince. It was nice meeting you. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. We do a lot of car rally stuff in NZ, a lot on HF, because in the middle of freaking nowhere, it's great fun. Yeah.
In building 1 and building 3, near the front, each building when the big door is open, right? I am. That's my I only have one name. You're not.
You're an IT,
Yeah,
I am by an ambulance.
yes.
So I'm building a ham shack that's easy to make portable. Yeah, I was trying to get an idea of what I had to say. And the other guy, being able to pull stuff out with the cart to go, that's going to be a have to as well. Yes. Appreciate you going on building.
this is fast forward, 36, this is 3600, 35, I still don't know if that's. I do know that works. I actually took all my stuff and I loaded it into a bag and tried it. I tried 6 bags in 2 weeks.
Vince, quick question. Where do they have those, the neodymium, I mean, the rare earth magnets? You remember which booth that was?
I don't know what
Okay.
booth has it. Just ask them if they got rare earth magnets. That's the real secret to having a great magnetic
Okay, 'cause I remember seeing them, I just wasn't looking for them at the time. Okay, thanks.
Hey, well, you being here, thanks.
You enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
I don't know. I'd love to have one. Did you want to? Thank you very much. You know what? I don't know. Oh, no, I didn't. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be coming. We're trying to. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hey, thank you. Take care. Good job on the work on yours. We did. Oh, yeah, IDX, I remember your sentence. I thank you on the video. I remember that. Thank you for your sorry. Again soon. We will. Thank you. You're on the hammer. Thank you very much.
I need to buy a bigger laptop to fit
I'm the same way. I got them all on mine. Well, I have, here's my stickers. My Go kit is because I operate at the beach. I have a 5-gallon blue bucket from Lowe's, like the bucket with the handle on it. So I can put everything in it, walk with one hand down to the beach in the sand, set everything up, flip the
Yeah.
bucket over upside down, and now that's the stand for my radio, and I can just sit right on the beach and operate. But
Yeah.
all the stickers, my bucket is just like a graffiti page of stickers. I need to come up and get me a Canadian Tire bucket. That's what I need. Good seeing you, Ben.
Right on.
I reached out to you about the URL.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
You're
much.
very welcome. And thank you for pointing me to the right one. I'm finding it really interesting.
Yeah, good.
You know, I've been kind of approaching it